it gives me great pleasure to introduce your 2020 to 2021 National President, Joy Newman. Joy, I am honored to be able to turn this meeting over and the leadership of Sertoma into your capable hands.
Well, thank you, John. I'm overwhelmed. Didn't expect some of the things that I just heard. I was inspired by Gretchen's presentation and Tim Romero. I thought that was a great job. Everybody has done a wonderful job. I am sorry that I was not able to be there visually, but maybe that's a good thing. You know, being the dinosaur of the group, maybe you didn't need to see me. But anyway, it's very frustrating. I want to thank John, though, for a wonderful job that he's done. I've worked with him now for 7 or 8 years. We've become good friends, and we've worked together on some varied boards. The last couple have been really, really hardworking groups, and we've worked together as a team, and I thank everybody. I'm really excited to be here, honestly. I love Sertoma. I've done everything that I think that I can do for Sertoma, and I wanted to work up the ladder to do as much as possible. I came to part of my speech John already gave, so I have to do a little ad-libbing here. But I came to Tucson in 1973, and I was a travel agent, and one of my accounts that I was given was the University of Arizona Speech, Language, and Hearing Department. I was the manager for their travel, and the professors and the doctors would go out. I'd send off to exotic places to do speeches about something, wanted to know what was going on because I'm naturally nosy, and so got to know what they did, got to know a lot of the students who went into the audiology program. I've never met a nicer group of people over the years as the students in audiology. They really are special. And become very interested in all that they do. I also learned a lot about the needs of those with hearing loss and the deaf. I joined a group called the Tucson Hearing Society, which was put together at a grassroots level by 2 women who are hard of hearing that found that they didn't know where to go to help to learn how to live in a hearing world more readily because they did not hear. So they put together this group, and over the years, they'd been organized for, I don't know, 15, 20 years when I got in there, but they also had in that process formed a hearing aid bank to help those who needed hearing aids that could not afford them in connection with the University of Arizona Speech, Language, and Hearing Department. So I got involved in it then. I didn't run into Sertoma until much later, actually. I was getting ready to leave my travel-oriented career and thought that it was time to get back to the community. So I started looking for service organizations. I happened to be picking up some brochures for a tour that I was taking over to Amsterdam. And during the conversation with the owner there, I had mentioned I was looking for a service organization, and she told me that, named a couple, and then she said, oh, you know, my husband has just been elected a president of a club here it's a Sertoma club. And I said, oh, I've never heard of Sertoma. And she said, well, I haven't either, and I don't know who they are, but I've got their brochure that we just printed. So she handed it to me. It happened to be, excuse me, for the Tucson Downtown Sertoma Club. And they talked about service to mankind on the front page. And I thought, well, that is wonderful. And then I read about the different things that they did in the inside. And on the back page, they had their major sponsorship, which was the Arizona School for the Deaf. And that intrigued me. So I went to the club. I did my 3 visits to the club before putting in my application, and I waited to be accepted, and I was, and almost literally became secretary as I walked in the door, handed a yellow book, which those of us who've been around a while, it's called a club manual. Everything about Sertoma was in there that you ever needed to know and maybe even didn't want to know, but it was given to me by somebody who became my mentor, who is no longer with Sertoma, but he passed away several years ago, was Charlie Sewell. He prodded and probed and encouraged me to do everything that I could in the club, and then to go on to seek leadership beyond the club level. After a couple of years with Downtown Sertoma, I met the people in the Midtown Sertoma Club of Tucson. I joined them, and that is where my membership is today. With that group, we became involved with that hearing aid bank that I told you about earlier that had been there. The ladies and the people in the Tucson Hearing Society aged out. They were looking for a 501c organization to take over their mission and to help with run the hearing aid bank and fund the hearing aid bank. I was approached. We went to our club board of directors. We discussed it, and it became one of our feature, sponsorships, or what we support, one of our major things that we support. Over the years, I was asked to run for governor, and I was elected. Worked as district governor in the state of Arizona for more years than I should have, but I loved that job, and I got to know so many wonderful people. From that, I was encouraged to step up to regional director, which I did, and with the encouragement of some other folks that I really owe a lot of gratitude to, and I wish to thank. And over the years, they've been my mentors and my friends, and they encouraged me, and in some cases dragged me screaming and hollering forward, but here we are. So my great thanks to Dwayne Gritzmaker, Joe Carroll, and Roger Donato. Sorry, I'm getting emotional because I never in the world thought that I was going to be getting any kind of award for anything. So anyway, here I am, and I'm so proud to be a Sertoman. I am proud to be the president of Sertoma, Inc., and I consider myself your president. To me, Sertoma, and some of those people that know me have heard this before. To me, Sertoma is people. It is, and what brought me into Sertoma was the fact that it was organized and built around the members in clubs. We were built from the grassroots. We were not given our orders from top to bottom. We built the organization. We've been here over 100 some years, and I should know the number, but I hate numbers, figures, and so just I know that we've been here a long time. My hope is and plan is to help all of us think the same way that I do, that we all belong together. We are all a part of the whole. I was told once upon a time when I worked for American Express that the organization was only as good as the sum of its parts. And the parts were their employees. In our case, it's us, our members. All of us are Sertoma, all the club members, those of us who have gone into leadership, if we've been elected as directors, our directors and all of your officers are active in our own clubs, as well as doing service at the national level, and the staff and administration in Kansas City, the vital part of our organization. And it isn't us and them. We are all in this together. We are a unified organization of Sertomans doing service to mankind all over the country. But there's places left in this country that don't know about us. It's up to us to get the word out. And I remember how we used to say that Sertoma is the best kept secret. No, let's not do that. Let's shout it from the top of the Rocky Mountains and any place else we can and let people know. Because there's so much that we are doing now for people. There's so many people out there that need us, that need to know about us. So working together, I just am positive that we're going to get through all of this. This COVID thing, we've actually seen some real positives in so fact that we are, with the member corner, more and more people are coming into there. In our clubs that are meeting virtually, many of them are saying that more people are coming to those meetings than they'd had in a while on the face-to-face. In my own club, the case is that many of us are physically unable to meet face-to-face. And so this is a way that we are keeping in touch, and they are coming to the meetings, and we're having more people come to our virtual meetings than we did before. You've heard about the ways that we can do our fundraising virtually and so forth. And when we came across this windfall of money, that we felt that we were looking for something that we could do to help all of us, all of our clubs. And I'm really proud of being the finance committee for coming up with the way that the whole project that we're calling the virtual COVID-19 recovery program for our clubs. I urge all of you that have had to cancel fundraisers because of this to apply for it. And you'll find that the requirements are limited. So it isn't an onus thing to do that. And it's really, it'll give us a great deal of pleasure to see that all of this money goes really fast and out to all of our clubs and then into our communities again. So again, thank you. The goals that I've had for the new year, basically we've already touched on some of them. We are going to continue reviewing and looking at our specialist roles to see what worked fine and what didn't and how we can tweak them. We're looking at redefining the role of the director as we said, to find out, what there's going to be this survey that Aaron talked about. I hope all of you will do that. We need your input, because if we don't know what you're thinking, then how can we best serve you? So please do that. I want to thank all of the people on the board. I've worked with all of them for a long time, and a couple of you only just recently. But we made contact. I think it's a wonderful group. It's a cohesive group. And we have one thing, we come from all over the place and different diverse backgrounds and so forth. But the one thing we all do, we care about serving mankind. We care about Sertoma, and we care about working together to make Sertoma great again.